Mr. Jack Chavez.
Hello.
Hello there. Nice to see you here, sir. Jack is new to the show. Chance meeting with Jack Chavez last week or the week before over at Bachelors Grove Cemetery. And just started chit-chatting and talking and that, and invited him to come on to the radio show. So he's here with us, and welcome to Paranormal Radio.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, welcome to Paranormal Radio. And I know you've been around in the paranormal for a long time. I always, for the last couple of years or so, I've seen your name on Facebook, and here and there you're doing different things and that, but we've never actually met in person, so it was kind of neat that we finally got to connect in that, so that's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about you a couple times because we have some mutual colleagues, Tony Zabelski.
Something good, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they hear things about me, and I never know.
No, all good things actually. So, and even you mentioned that you would like to see this become a legitimate field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do too. It would have to be under science, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It would have to be.
Yeah, like parapsychology.
I think I really wish more paranormal researchers would do their research in physics and chemistry and biology, and I think these fields are really important.
Well, another part too with paranormal research is the secretness of it. Everybody thinks they're onto something that's this great discovery, and it should be kept secret to them only and not shared with the world.
Yeah.
Because someone's going to get wind of this, and they're going to take credit for my big discovery here. And I think that's what happens with a lot of that too.
Yeah, well, that's the issue that we're having with the Chicago Phantom thing, because a lot of the reports are submitted to one website, and I know the person.
So that website has like a monopoly on it, and no one else seems to be getting the stories. And
they have stated that they refuse to, give out any names or anything like that, which is understandable because
but you know what, they got them, and you managed to come in contact with one. You did a lot to get a hold of that person, but you did it, so it's possible to do. I mean, you can do it,
Yeah, and but there needs to be some level of transparency. We need to work together in order to.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Working together. Yeah, working together.
Even though I am freelance, I do collaborate a lot with people because it's important.
It is
field.
very much so.
We need to compare notes, etc. So.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like I said, I wish Pete was here because I want to talk to him about some of the work that he was doing with radio waves and hertz. And
for a while, Pete was doing a paranormal radio thing too. He was doing Bachelors Grove Radio.
Yeah,
where he had something broadcasted, but it was like very short distance from the cemetery. He was doing it, and it was not a real big range to it.
Because there are cell towers right there.
Yeah.
And that's electromagnetism and radio waves. We really need to look into that. And I think once we do, I think that's the key to how we discover the nature of ghosts. And what's really interesting is that the Earth's frequency pulsates at 3.87 hertz.
Okay.
What's really interesting is that the physicist Dr. Winfred Sherman discovered that the Earth vibrates at 3.87 hertz. What's really interesting is our brains also pulsate at 3.87 hertz. Now,
that's a lot of hertz.
Yeah. So there might be some connection
between the brain waves
when those things aligned.
Yeah.
You can establish some sort of connection with your environment. There's a researcher named Dr. Jack Hunter. He's out in the UK, and he formed a subfield of the paranormal called paraanthropology, which combines anthropology and the paranormal. And he wrote a book called Greening the Paranormal, where he talks a little bit about this.
Okay.
So environment.
It's possible when these two things connect, the Earth and the person's brainwaves, boom, maybe that's when things are revealed and visible and seen.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe that's something we're not realizing, that's why certain people are seeing and experiencing certain things and other people don't.
Yeah. And, when those are aligned, the studies have shown that we're in a more relaxed states. And the Earth experiences, these hertz a lot of times at night. because during the day we have radiation from the sun that disrupts the magnetosphere.
Okay.
So when it's not disrupted, which is at night, things are more calm, and the ionosphere, goes out further, which is why people who use ham radios, they're able to get channels from far away.
Sure.
Because the ionosphere is further away, because things are calmer.
Yeah.
So when things are calmer,
The frequencies are better. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's when you get more ghost activity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really based on science. It's
Well, then I guess there is some truth to that too. Then
Yeah.
people, you say, well, why do people investigate at night and have this feeling that it has to happen at night and that's the only time these
Right.
things are seen? Maybe that is the better opportunity for it.
Right.
It's not just something
Exactly.
that's great in a Hollywood movie. There is some scientific basis to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there really is. It's
Yeah.
not because it's it's just
Yeah.
it's spooky, and
Yeah.
there really is scientific basis for it.
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Like that.
and I do get a little skeptical with using instruments, but things have happened using instruments.
Okay.
So
So you're not real crazy about using instruments either, huh?
no, I'm not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Geez, I met somebody that kind of is like me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no.
get flack for this all the time because you're still like in the 19th century and that. And I says, no, I'll be honest with you. If you're going to see something, people have felt these things for years before we had this stuff.
Right.
So why do we need these things now? And then, quite honestly, 90% of the stuff I've seen and heard is a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Right.
It
Yeah.
really is.
No,
I mean,
it is. That's with the ghost box, the EMF meters. I own some equipment actually,
Yeah, uh-huh.
and I'll take it out from time to time,
Sure.
but I don't really use them that much.
One thing I do like is I like a good medium.
Yes.
I like to work. I much prefer to work on an investigation with a good medium
Yeah.
than any electronic box, because the box will get a lot of ooh ee ooh ah ah ting
Right,
ting
right,
walla
right.
walla wing wing. The medium is going to get names. She's going to get things. I'm seeing something happening over here.
Mhm.
Something was going on here. There's something going on by this wall. I'm getting a feeling this. They'll get names. They'll get people. They get descriptions. Things coming to them. Boom. Now, if the medium can do that, we can't do that with technology.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and sometimes those could become hard to find too.
Mediums.
A good medium.
Well, good ones are getting a little tougher to find. There's a lot
Right.
there's a lot of so-so ones out there,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that claim to be mediums that aren't mediums at all.
Right.
I think aren't even larges or extra larges. They're nothing.
Yeah.
They really aren't. There's just a lot of people out there that, a lot of people make the claim that they have these abilities, and they really don't.
Sure.
They don't. And I'm sure you can kind of pick them out, too.
Yeah. It's like you
You've
said,
gotta yeah.
when you're in this field long enough, you could pick out things.
Yeah, you start
know,
knowing, yeah.
whether somebody is lying or whether they just actually believe, but there's nothing really there. It's,
Yeah.
There's so much going on. When you're in this field, you have to sift through so much.
Yes, you do.
That's why I always tell people, if you're going to be,
It's hard to, and I find myself as I'm getting older, just being upfront and blunt with people and honest. And if you're just really full of baloney, I tell you right out, you're kind of full of baloney here. What do you think you're pulling off?
Right.
I didn't fall off the back of a truck yesterday or something. Why are you
Yeah.
telling me this? That kind of thing. Where before I was maybe a little more polite about it, and okay. But then I thought by doing that, I'm allowing them to believe it and maybe think they're actually pulling the wool over my eyes.
right.
And I don't like that feeling. So.
No, it's
And
not.
I don't like
feeling.
them doing it to me. I don't like them doing it to other people either. And some of them are making quite a lot of money doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame.
It is. It
because-
really is a shame. And there again, setting the field back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this will become an established field, but I that's why I'm in it. I really want to, and my knowledge of psychology and science is not the best.
Well,
But I try to make
you
my
sound like
contribution.
you're,
I try to make my contributions, and
Yeah, sure.
write when I can, and maybe future generation. And let me say that I think that's really important in this field is jotting down your experiences and your
Absolutely.
ideas.
because you can only retain so much memory.
Yeah.
and you think you're going to remember the situation or something, and you don't. After a while, you fade it. Something else comes in the way, and that. So it's nice to remember, have it written down, and then you go back to it and you say, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened there, and that's what I saw, and that was the colors, and that was this, and that was." It's good to do.
And and you may not be able to connect all the dots together, during your lifetime, but maybe some future generation will.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to do this, because I think it's really important for us to understand what is going on in the paranormal. Because if we could discover truths within the paranormal, then we could understand our world. And when we understand our world, we could understand ourselves and who we are and where we belong in it.
Some things plain and simply may just be not for us to know and not to understand. My feeling about this is I believe when we enter the next world after death, I think all of a sudden all this is going to be revealed to us, and we're going to say, "Oh my gosh, that's what this is all about." Now I know. I didn't notice when I was out there walking around and everything, but now my soul knows this. Now I know. It becomes revealed to you, and all of a sudden, like the tree of knowledge or something, all of a sudden you get all this knowledge, and all these things become clear to you. So it may be something for the other realm, not for here. Here we get a little taste of it here and there and everything, just to let us know what's out there.
Definitely, from all the aspects of the paranormal, we're not gonna. I don't think we're meant to know all of them. No, we're not. No. But we could certainly try. Yeah. And I think trying is what
There's
counts.
There's reasons for it. Some things are heard, some things are seen, some things are felt for reasons. If not, they would keep themselves away from us, and they wouldn't make connections with us. They wouldn't try to outreach to us, And that's another thing I have trouble with, too, is when people say with these, with some of the recordings. Now, I see it here again. I sound like I'm really coming down on these bad and everything.
No.
And they're not. Not all the EVP recordings and everything you've heard are bad. And there are some good ones out there.
Sure.
But trust me on this, they're few and far between.
Yeah.
Most of them, it's like, you know how they sound. And, you got to hear it. Did you just hear it? It said this. It said that. It said. And then I'll say, well, no, wait, if it's saying this and it's doing that and everything, and these people are taking the trouble to reach to us from the other world or from wherever they happen to be doing, why aren't they doing it in a way that we're capable of understanding it?
Right.
Well, and then there's theories about this, because in the other world they speak in a different frequency and they use a different language and we can't understand it. But then why, and again, do we every now and then get a word here or a word there or something, So I just don't buy the whole thing. And then why can a medium get all these things clearly and you can't do it with this, So it's a little controversial.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree. It's.
I mean, I sound really skeptical on that, and I know I come into a lot of that with different teams and things about using the boxes and using the thing in that. But and then again too, I think a lot of people really want to get the self-gratification and have the evidence, and they're hearing things that really aren't there.
Right.
They're really not.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you have to have that trained ear. If your ear isn't trained, you aren't going to hear it. Yeah, but now if you're going to be presenting this to the public as evidence of the paranormal existing, don't you think that most people are going to want to understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people ask me. I've been on a few podcasts, and usually they ask me, what experiences have you had that brought you into the paranormal? I actually have not had an experience.
Okay.
No, I have not had experience.
Well, there's another real big ghost hunter that never had a paranormal experience, never saw a ghost, and that was Richard Crowe.
Yeah.
Richard Crowe never in his life saw a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, investigated. He actually started the ball rolling with a lot of the paranormal.
Right.
Others were doing it before him, but in the area here anyway, I think he really was like a pioneer of it.
Yeah,
and
he was.
He never actually saw anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's it's really interesting for somebody like Richard Crowe to say that I haven't had an experience.
Yeah.
I met him.
Oh yeah.
Just shortly before he passed away.
Yeah.
I went to his wake actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have to have an experience to be in this field.
No.
You could just acknowledge that something odd is going on here and it needs to be looked at.
You may be doing investigations, doing research, doing studies, doing locations for 25, 30, 40 years, whatever, your whole life. You may never get anything.
Yeah.
You may get something. Maybe you'll get that one good thing, and that once in a lifetime, as they say, and that. For somebody to go out there and say, yeah, I'm getting something every week, or I can get, what I love to is I can guarantee results. How can you guarantee results?
I know somebody who actually says that all the time.
I know, and we might be talking about the same person.
It's
but,
terrible.
Yeah. How can you do this, and how can you mislead the public this way and say you can guarantee results? So then, in other words, you're capable of conjuring things at will.
Right.
You know? I don't know. I'm not buying that. You know.
No.
I don't know. Everybody to their own. What am I going to say about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I was watching one of the shows.
I like you. You're honest. You're genuine. I like you. I do.
I was listening to one of the shows where Pete was on here, and Pete was talking about the tours, and he was upset about the tours and how things are advertised and stuff.
Then he goes and he gets involved in one.
Then, you're right.
I told him about that. I said, "You big,
But here's the thing, when I was listening to this, the thing is, I don't expect everyone, that to have a passion for this field like I do or like you do.
Yeah.
They just want it for entertainment, and you know what? That's
Yeah.
okay. That's
especially
fine.
this time of year.
Yeah.
This time of year, you get everybody loves the supernatural and the paranormal for the month
People
of
want to
October
bring
for
their
Halloween.
kids.
Yeah, it's and maybe someone will actually get the bug for this and actually say, this is something I want to do. This isn't just an October
That's what
thing.
happened to me.
This isn't just a Halloween thing,
Yeah.
and so and you take it a step further.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that's great. Same thing too with watching the TV shows and things like that. Someone may watch one of these shows, one of these hour shows or whatever like that, and say, this is
These
something
terrible
I'd like to do.
shows. Yeah.
I'd like to maybe take this a little more seriously, and nothing. And so it does. So it does have its good. It does.
It really, it really does. And I get what people say about the critiques about some of these things. I totally get it.
Sure.
I'm not in the paranormal for entertainment. Well, I should say for purely entertainment, but I do like for example, these investigations that I host. I know these people don't have a passion for the paranormal. They want a night of
it's
fun.
a night out. It's a night of exactly right. Yeah.
And that's when I was younger, it would frustrate me a lot. But as I'm getting older, I get it. I get it. People just want to have fun sometimes too.
Nothing wrong with that.
There isn't. There really isn't.
And out of a group of maybe 20 or 25 or 15 or whatever like that, if you do get one or two that may be a little more serious into it, fine.
Sure.
It's done its job.
For those kind of things, my critique with people who host these events is when they try to create these false phenomena.
Oh.
Because there are some people.
I could tell you about seances where quarters are dropped on the floor to make a sound and make a noise.
Yeah.
I'm just all kind of little tricks that are
things like that. It's still frustrating to me. It's like, come on. Now.
Harry Houdini said it best many years ago. Harry Houdini was great, especially during the heyday in the 20s when this stuff was really, and there were a lot of people out there making a lot of money debunking or defrauding the public. And he, of course, put up, I think, something like a $25,000 prize for anybody that could have actual proof of something of the paranormal existing. But then the thing was, he would go to a lot of different mediums and seances and things, and contacting his mother's spirit after she passed away and different things and that. And one very pricey New York medium that was very well known.
I know the story. Yeah. Go ahead.
About the language?
Yes.
Yeah. The mother came in, and the mother's talking away and everything, and she's speaking and everything and all this. And after Harry Houdini just went along with the whole thing. When it was all over, he says, okay, fine and everything. You did your research and know a lot of facts about my mother, but the trouble is my mother never spoke English in all her life. She spoke Hungarian. Oh, didn't miss a beat. In the next world, they all speak English. So it's nice to know that in the next world, English is the choice, language of the spirits, So, what am I going to say,
Yeah. There is, where I heard that story from, there was this, he's a magician, Jacob Mayfield, and he's a magician in Chicago. Do you know him?
I don't.
Oh,
no.
okay. Yeah, I heard it from.
I know of him, but I don't know him.
And he puts on these seances in a speakeasy in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so I was listening. I was listening to him talk, and he told that story, and I love.
Have
that
you ever
story.
attended any of his seances?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No.
We'll have to go one time.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah, we'll have to go.
But
we'll go in disguise. I don't know who. Well, nobody knows me. I could get away with it, but yeah.
Something really interesting was said was that that yes, Houdini was a debunker, but he probably was a debunker because he was so interested in the field.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's a lot of people that debunk.
I think he was so interested in the field, and he was not so much concerned about financial gain. Although he had that, I mean, he was a top-notch performer.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money. He didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
But I think he was concerned that so many other people were making money and defrauding the public.
Yeah.
Frauding. Just frauds. Plain and simple. That's all they were.
I think it's a two-part thing. Yes, that he was debunking because of the reason that you just said, and also because he wanted to find something real.
Yes,
exactly. Which is totally understandable too. You know, so
to offer a prize of money like that, if someone could come up with actual legitimate proof, in that, he was, serious. And as far as I know, to this date, no one's ever claimed the money.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Maybe we should do something like that. Someday if I win the lottery or something, I'll offer this prize and I'll see what kind of photos and recordings get sent to me, huh? We'll see what happens. Yeah. There are a lot of good things out there. I mean, we sound almost skeptical about this, and it's not how I do like to come across the way I don't. I've had experiences happen to me and things I can't explain, and people have revealed things to me. And yes, there are things that do happen and that. But like I say, for the one good experience, the one legitimate thing, there's 100 that are bad, And that's the sort of stuff you'd like to see.
And I think that's okay for people to understand that there's a lot of illegitimacy, because within all that illegitimacy, there is some legitimacy.
Oh, yeah.
And that, so all the illegitimacy shouldn't, throw you off.
Hopefully
because
people are smart enough to start making decisions for themselves, too, and saying, something's not quite right about this, and you're trying to sell this to the public, and I'm not really buying this 100%, Just start questioning things yourself,
Yeah.
There's an expression, don't believe everything you see and half of what you hear,
Right, yeah. When I was younger, getting into the field, I believed in a lot more things, but I'm glad I was able to sift through a lot of it, and that's what I would recommend to anyone who wants to get in the field, just to understand that there is a lot of hoaxing taking place or misidentification taking place.
The best reason for doing anything, whatever you do, if that's in paranormal investigating, if that's swimming, athletics, whatever it may be, whatever it is, best reason for doing it is because it's something you're interested in.
Yeah.
And I've always said that. I says, when I no longer find this interesting, when this becomes boring for me and I'm done with it, which I don't see that happening, I'm done. That's it for me. I'm through.
Yeah.
I don't do it anymore, and I move on to something else. And I know people that have just plain and simple cold turkey left the paranormal and said, I just didn't like it anymore. I got out of it, and not that they were discouraged because they didn't find any evidence after doing it for 10 years, but just because they said, no, it just was no longer interesting me. I just, plain and simple, just got out of it,
Yeah. I mean, I think people should remember that, science itself for centuries hasn't been easy.
Oh no!
A hypothesis will always change, and a conclusion will change, and as technology progresses, as opinions progress through the ages.
As we find more and more things out that we didn't know 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, more things become revealed to us. Well, for instance, well, this has been interesting. We're going to have to do it again.
Definitely.
You're welcome to come back anytime you'd like.
I appreciate it, Bob.
Yeah, no, please do. I'm so glad that we got to finally meet in it. That's wonderful. Anything worth having, as they say, is worth waiting for, and this was certainly worth waiting to meet you and have you on here. I'm very happy with that.
Thank you.
I like you a lot. I think you're a good guy, and I like what you're doing, and you seem very sincere and very honest, and it's like somebody I could trust.
I try.
I kind of get a feeling for those kind of things. So, yeah. Okay. Well, please come
you,
back
Bob.
anytime you'd like to.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know what we're going to do. Do you have anything you want to announce for yourself coming up besides, the investigation you got coming up, but you said that's already sold out.
You could look me up, Jack Chavez on Facebook. I post events that I'm doing, writings that I'm about to publish, things of that nature.
Good for you. Okay. Who do you write for? Where are your so many things published?
Everywhere. I'm writing for, right now I'm writing for a couple local magazines. And newspapers. I have
paranormal articles, that type of thing? Or?
Yeah, paranormal articles and non-paranormal.
Just different stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
I interviewed a lieutenant in Athens, Ohio, who interviewed a witness who saw a 4-foot bipedal creature So I called the police station. I asked about the reports. They said, "Oh, this was Lieutenant Jason Klein."
They really gave it to you, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Usually they don't do that. Police stations don't.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when I asked about it, she goes, "Oh, you're talking about the creature sighting, aren't you?" I go, "Yes, I am." I go, "Have you been getting calls for this?" She goes, "No, you're the first one, but I'm not
Good.
surprised."
Okay.
And she goes, "That was our Lieutenant Jason Klein. Patch you in." So she did.
Wow.
I spoke to him and I interviewed him.
I could tell you instances where police stations and police officers were told not to say anything about something. They're told not to. They say, we don't want any attention drawn to this, and don't say anything about that.
I'm sure that
About
happens all
certain
the time.
paranormal events, yeah. Oh, cool, yeah. Oh, great. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to have you back on here again. Okay, John, give us the X-Files music.